Hi guys, my name's Elliot Harling Bethel, and if you're new to this channel, it is about energy healing, personal development and following my journey utilising various different forms of fasting as a healing modality. And today I wanted to talk to you about spiritual algorithms or synchronicities or bridges of incidents or breadcrumb trails, because a lot of people are starting to find that they're feeling more from their heart now, not thinking so much with their mind. And by this I mean, when you're faced with a decision, you're going towards what resonates, you're going towards what feels good, what gives you the most amount of enjoyment. So when we create inner states of enjoyment, we create outer states of enjoyment. As within, so without, as above, so below. Clean the inside of the cup and the outside of the cup becomes clean. So we're kind of being guided to do a lot of internal work at the moment. A lot of people are noticing their sleeping patterns are changing, that they're maybe feeling a bit dehydrated at the moment, and there's many other symptoms at the moment as well. You might find that something you thought happened when you wake up the next day actually didn't happen, because there's lots of timelines going on at the moment, and whatever you set your frequency or your vibration to is generally the one that you pop into in the next day. I find the most important time to practice raising your vibration or to set intentions for the next day is the last 20 minutes before you go to bed, because this is generally when your conscious mind is drifting off to sleep and your subconscious goes about at setting up those breadcrumbs for you to follow in the morning. So it's almost like it shines a light on the path for you to best follow to what you've set the intentions to find. So if you set the intentions to find health or to find some prosperity or anything that you personally want to find, generally you'd affirm this before you go to bed in the last 20 minutes. This would then be planted into your subconscious, and then the following morning you would also again visualize what it is you wanted. So this is what Abraham calls segment intending. So it's thinking about what you want to happen before it happens and visualize it happening or visualizing it happening, so that the vibration is set there, it's built in the non-physical, and then all you have to do is match its vibration and pull it through into the physical. This is a lot of what I am being shown recently is how creation happens, that we actually build it in the non-physical, and once we've really developed it and perfected it in the spiritual or the non-physical, that's when we start to match our physical vibration to it, and we start to bring it through from the non-physical into the physical. Now this is happening on a very, very large scale at the moment. The veil between the physical and the non-physical right now is collapsing big time. This is because our mind, body and spirits, or our mind, body and souls, are all starting to unify. We're starting to become complete. You've always been complete, but there's been certain things that have made us feel like that we need things outside of us to make us whole, whereas in reality we've been whole the whole time, and it's just our minds that we've let ourselves believe that we needed stuff outside of us. But now we're starting to see, now these veils are coming down, that everything we need is within us. We're starting to complete all of these parts of us again, or to fulfill them or to awaken them. And once we awaken them, it's like, for me, it's been pretty magical. It's every day when I wake up, things that I'm thinking about, I do see certain breadcrumb trails or certain synchronicities or bridges of incidents that are set up for me, and when I follow them with my heart, when I'm guided through feeling, not thought, it leads me on to that, which then leads on to the next one and the next one. And this is what I feel we're being guided into doing at the moment, is to stop thinking with our head. Some people call it the monkey mind, because once you start thinking, you can bring all sorts of things into the equation which can corrupt or put you off of the right path. Whereas when you go with what you feel and you use intuition or gut feeling, so I'm led to believe that intuition is our top 3 energy centers, our throat chakra, our third eye and our crown chakra, and the gut feeling is our lower 3 energy centers, so our solar plexus, our sacral and our root chakra. When we combine these with the heart and we lead with the heart, our decisions are made at a resonation rate, so it's what we vibrate towards. When we find the highest vibration and we then lead on to the next higher vibration and the next higher vibration, and this is ascension, it's enlightenment. So when you find the brightest light, you lead on to the next brightest light. I'm trying to use lots of different metaphors to explain this because so many people understand it in different ways, so I'll try and break it down in as many possible ways as possible. But generally, if you're thinking of something negative, your vibration is negative. That's what you're vibrating here, that's what's going out into your aura, and that's your energy field that is around you. And when you put this negative into your energy field, you draw negativity towards you. That's why when you find, I've used the expression, when you get up in the morning and you bang your foot and you go, oh shit, it's going to be one of those days, and it just spirals into one of those days. Whereas if that's to happen to you and you're to take a really uplifting view on it and you hit your foot and you go, oh, that's the worst thing that can happen today, it's only going to get better from here, then generally things will get better and better. Because when you look at things from a higher perspective and you don't react, if you react to something negative, if someone has a go at you and you react to it, you then have to react that situation again later on until you learn the lesson. So the more you react to something, the more you're going to have to react it at a later stage to learn the lesson from it. And when you learn the lesson from it, you stop reacting from it. So if someone says something negative to you, you either just don't reply to it, or you reply to it in a very loving, unconditional love, peaceful and harmonious way, and that just gets rid of all of that negative energy, so then there's no reaction to come back. So you either diffuse it or you just don't react to it, and that way you're not reacting to it and sending out that vibration again, and you're not drawing more of it towards you. When you don't react to it, you then don't have to react that situation again. It's like you've covered that lesson, you've learned from it. And this is such a big one for me because I always thought I had to try and prove myself right. And I've learned in the past that just because I think I'm right, it might be right through my eyes, but somebody else's situation, they're coming at it from a different level of perspective. They're coming at it from a different angle. I don't know what they've been through. So it's better to just humble yourself and say, okay, I don't know what you're going through. I'm here for you if you need my help, but this is not the way I see things, and this is the way you're seeing it. And if you'd like me to help you, I can step in and tell you my perspective, but just be aware of it. You might not agree with it. You might not like what you hear, but this is my truth, and I'm here to hear your truth. But we need to understand that they might not be the same truths. Once you come to this level of understanding, everything becomes so much easier. I'm pretty much seeing at the moment that anything is possible. As you guys that know, who follow my channel, I've done very, very long periods without food, and in October a colleague and myself are going 40 days without food and water, possibly a little bit longer. I'm going to be attempting it slightly before then, but I won't be making that one public because I like to do things on my own first of all and then to put it public. So I've been shown many things that we don't actually need food. Food's an industry that we was put into. It's a form of slavery in a way, that if you're told you need to eat 3 times a day, it's an industry that they then know you're going to have to buy things 3 times a day. When I fast from water and food, my sleep goes down to around 2 to 3 hours a night, and my deep sleep increases. My heart rate goes down below 50, and generally I feel a lot more connected. When I'm drinking water and fruit juices, my sleep generally goes up to around 5 to 6 hours, and when I'm eating food, my sleep goes up to 8 to 9 hours. And I actually feel like I need more sleep when I eat food. So this actually makes me believe in what I'm being shown now, that it actually takes our energy to process that food, that there is cellular memory in food. We are energy vibrating at a certain level of frequency, and if we eat meat, which is very depressed and very angry and very sad, then ultimately we're going to take on that vibration when we eat it, and there's going to be a part of us that knows this and that our soul doesn't agree with. I found that when I gave up eating meat, as you've heard in many of my other videos, that a lot of my depression, anxiety and stress went away like instantly overnight. Now I put intention into food. I eat very high water, high light, high electricity foods, mainly fruits, vegetables, cacao, a little bit of soy every now and then. The whole protein myth was just a huge, massive load of bollocks that I bought into for years. I thought that I had to eat 175 grams of protein a day. I can still pretty much squat and bench roughly around 90% of what I used to. I'm not as interested in lifting heavy weights anymore. I'm more interested in flexibility and durability and longevity. So the fact that I can still lift and squat and bench almost 90% of what I used to, and I'm probably eating like 80 to 85 grams of protein, maximum 100 a day, and that's all plant fueled, from pea protein, from a little bit of soy here and there. So that whole protein myth was just one of the biggest myths for me. I've actually seen that proteins, carbs and fats are actually all a load of bollocks. It was a food system designed for us to buy into so that we could track, and once we put our beliefs into we need a certain amount of proteins, fats and carbs, then we ultimately give our energy over to these proteins, fats and carbs, and our body starts to react in a way that we believe it reacts. So now when I eat foods, I can eat, I probably will do a test next year with you guys where I will eat 4 to 5 vegan pizzas a day, putting certain intentions into the pizzas, and I won't put on any weight, because ultimately I believe it's my energy that I put into the food that comes back to me. And a lot of people are seeing this and believing this now and actually doing what I'm doing and going even further. As I said, I know people that have gone over 3 months without sleep now and that are functioning pretty well and running several companies. So the sleep one was a big one for me. I did actually think about 15 years ago in the gym when I was lifting weights that I wonder if all of this food stuff is an absolute load of bollocks and I could just breathe. And ultimately that's pretty much what I'm doing now. I planted that seed about 15 years ago, and the funny thing is I actually had a seed planted about 6 months ago that we don't actually even need to breathe, which is a very big one for me to stomach, because I do a lot of breath work and I work with a lot of breath work coaches, and ultimately it does make me feel really good. But what I'm being shown now, and some of the people I've made contact with, is that if we transcend breath, we ultimately stop aging. That actually eating food takes life force out of us, and actually breathing takes life force out of us. And this is going to trigger a lot of people, and it triggered me a lot when I thought that I wouldn't have to eat. But ultimately every day now I'm managing to hold my breath for longer and longer periods, to stay underwater for longer and longer periods, and it's something that I will keep practicing and working with. But there's various people in Russia again who I'm seeing who, what happens with myself is I have these thoughts and then later on I have something outside of me confirm it. So it's almost like I think it and then something's projected outwards to show me that it's possible, to show me that someone else is actually doing it. Now, I didn't believe that people would go 40, 50 days without food or water, but ultimately I'm speaking to people that have already done this, and I've done 14 days without food or water myself. I've done 40 days without food. So the more you become aware of something and the more you put your focus, which is where your energy goes, the more things start to come to light. It's like you shine a torch in an area which was never seen before, and you start to break down veils and see things that ultimately you weren't seeing before. It was only your thoughts and your beliefs that were holding you back. But ultimately, with the time we've got in our hands at the moment, a lot of people are sitting down now and really working on their emotional, mental and physical selves. Now, next week I'm going to be posting a little video after this one. I'm going to be holding a 7-day fast. For as many people who are interested, there's currently 11 people signed up. I'm going to be giving away 3 spaces for free for anyone whose circumstances don't allow at the moment for them to be able to pay for it. It's going to be £22 for the 7 days. And during these 7 days, there are going to be 2 days eating fruit, 2 days drinking water, and 3 days hard dry. There's going to be a lot of emotional work, there's going to be a lot of physical work, and there's going to be a lot of mental work. Ultimately, I'm calling this fasting, crying and sweating, because I believe that through releasing water, through fasting, crying and sweating, we release a lot of emotion stored in the body. Our body's roughly 72% water, and ultimately we hold a lot of cellular memory in the cells in our body through water. Some of these cellular memory can be from a very young age, when someone's told you off for something that you might not have even done, and you've kind of withdrawn, your DNA and your energy sensors have closed up, and ultimately you've taken a little bit of offense from it, and part of you's closed down and shut down around this. Now, this cellular memory can stay in your body for quite a long time, and what I'm finding with the people I've been working with over the last 2 or 3 years is when you hard dry fast for long periods of time, you utilize the really old stored memory, and if you can throw some emotional work, get some tears going, and then maybe do a sauna or steam room or sweat lodge, or maybe some very short high intensity workout, you release a lot of this cellular memory. Now, one of the things I always do with all of my people that I'm guiding through these fasts is we take 2 2-litre bottles of water at the beginning of the week, and we write a list of 22 affirmations that we want to embody within ourselves. And I'm going to give you some examples of mine are prosperity, health, joyfulness, peace, harmony, unconditional love, truth. These are just a few that you might want to add to your list. You write them down with your right hand, you write them down with your left hand, you vary it from day to day, but ultimately you write these affirmations and you place them around the bottles of water. The water has to be high alkaline water, above 8 pH, and ultimately it has to be by the side of your bed for 8 hours every night during the 7-day fast. Now what this does is this water will absorb your energy. It'll also absorb the energy of your affirmations when you write them and put them by it. And if you want to read them around the water every night, it actually picks up on the vibration of you talking it. This has been shown in a study test by Masaru Emoto called The Hidden Effects of a Sound on Water. It's a great book. I recommend everyone to read it. But ultimately, your body is 72% water, and this shows how your thoughts and your feelings affect this water, the water structure in your body, and creates various different crystalline structures within your body. So when you're feeling good, generally you have lots of crystalline octahedrons, pyramids, and various shapes in your body that are natural for your body. And when you are in a negative way, it will be very cloudy, very polluted sort of water that's in your body. Take a look at the rice test also on YouTube. That's a video you can watch, which is also by Masaru Emoto, and it's a great way of explaining that. So inner talk is one of the most powerful things you can do to change your outside world, because as I've said earlier, what you create within is projected outwards. So the most important talk you have with anyone is the internal dialogue you have. This creates the spiritual algorithms that are then sent out and come back to you, because ultimately your body is a transponder and receiver. All the time you're thinking and talking, you're sending out signals. All the time you're sleeping and meditating, you are receiving. So this is another reason why Abraham will say, if you're having a negative thought and it's difficult to take it away and to have a positive thought, just meditate, because the second you meditate, you stop sending out that negative thought. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm going to be doing a short video after this, giving more details on the 7-day fast I'm going to be doing next week. If you know anyone would be interested in it, then please do share or subscribe or post it on anyone's timeline or anyone's social media. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Lots of love. Namaste.